Hey everyone, welcome back to another Angular tutorial. Today I will show you how to create a simple header component in Angular for your web application. Headers are essential elements of any website, and by the end of this tutorial you will have a functional and stylish header for your Angular project. First things first, let's set up our Angular project. If you have not installed Angular CLI yet, you can do so by running this command in your terminal. Open your terminal first and then type npm install -g Angular/CLI. This will install the Angular CLI globally in your computer. If you don't have npm or node.js installed, then you can watch my videos on YouTube channel that I have recorded already. You can follow them to install node.js in your computer. So press enter, it will install the Angular CLI. Once it is installed, you can start creating a new Angular project. To do that, you need to type this command ng new my header app, press enter. It is asking you that do you want to add routing. So depending on your need, you can select it. I am going to need the routing, so I will use Y, and I am going to select the SCSS. So for any styling, I will be using SAS or SCSS. Alright, the Angular project has been installed successfully, you can see. Now we need to open this project in your editor. You can open it in any of your favorite editor. I am using VS Code, so I will type code space dot, press enter. So once it is opened in your editor, 1 second. So I have to open, go into my folder first, then I will open it. So for that, I will type cd my header app. Now open it in your VS Code editor. Alright. Now once it is open in your editor, you need to run your project. For that, you have to type ngserve -o. This will serve the application and start running it in the browser automatically. Alright, you can see that it is now running in my browser. Next, we will generate a new header component using Angular CLI. So open a new terminal in your VS Code and type the command ng generate component and the name of the component, that would be header in our case. Press enter. It will generate a new component with the new folder in the app directory. You can see it has created a component, all of its files, and also it has added declared the component in the app module that you can also see here. Now let's start making the structure of this header and start styling it. So first of all, I will add my app header here, and you can see that in the browser it is saying that header works, and here you can add the content. Now go to the header component and let's start styling this header component. So first of all, I need to add a container here. Actually, I should be in the HTML. Okay, here add the div id container, and here very first thing is that we need a logo. For that, I will add a div, put a logo in it, and add id logo or class, whatever you prefer. Now here on the right side, I need to have a container that will keep the links, so that's why I will give it the id links. And now here I'm going to add few links. So let's say add a div, and here I will add about, and here I need to add the router link, and here you need to specify that where you want to route this user to which route. So for that, I'm going to route it to the about. So type the path of the route. We did not define any path yet, but we will define it later in the app routing module. For now, I will just start completing the header first. Okay, now I will copy paste it. Here I need blog pricing contact. All right, now I need to style it in the as file, copy the container selector and add display flex. And now I need to set the flex grow to the links so that it could consume all of the available space. And also I need to add display flex so that I could bring everything in the same line. Now I also need to add gap between all of the link items, so that might be 20 pixels. So now you can see there is a gap. I also want to horizontally align all of the links to the right side. So for that, I'd add a line justify content right, save it, and you can see it is on the right. Now I also need to add the uh, padding around it. For that, add padding 0 pixel, 30 pixels, save it. All right. Now I want to add some margin bottom as well. Next, I will add some background color to my containers. For that, I will add background color purple or whatever you prefer. Let me start from the purple. We will adjust it if we don't like. I think this should be fine. Next, I need to remove the margin around the body tag. For that, go to the so there is a default margin coming from the body. This is margin or padding. For that, add the body in the global styles file. So here, target the body tag and add margin 0 pixels. Save it. You can see that margin around it has been removed. Now here I need to add padding top and bottom as well. For that, I will use 20 pixels. And next I need to add the color white for everything inside of it. Okay, now I want to add the global font family as Arial. Okay. I also want to add the pointer cursor pointer on every link. For that, I will add link cursor pointer, and I need to add that class. And add it on all of the links. Okay, I also want to make a little bit change in the color when you hover on the links. So let's do that. So you can improve the design to make it whatever you want to make it. So after that, let me add another button on the right side that would be sign in or login. And I don't want to add any router link here. I will try to create a function that will behave like we have signed in when user click on the login button. So in real world application, when user clicks on the login button, it opens another page where login form appears. But in my case, to keep it simple, I will just set a session in a service. So Let me track a click event on this, and here I will add call a login function. Now I need to define that login function here, and I also need to call the constructor, and I also need to create a service and generate service, and the name of the service would be auth. Press enter, and now I need to inject that auth service, private auth service, auth service. All right, now when user call the login function, I will simply set a session in the auth service, but before that let me add a session variable here. Okay, so here I will use this dot auth service dot session, and I will add a fake session here myself. That would be name Ayas and email abc@gmail. So whatever you can add it here. Now once this is done, actually this is not correct. We have to add the value on the right side of the equal operator. Now we are saving this object in the session variable. Once this session is set, we will replace the login button with a new div that will show the name of that user. So for that, let's add ngif here. So it will show the login only if there is no session. So let me make it public so that we could access it in the HTML as well. So here now I will use session or auth service dot session, and if this session is not set, then show the login button, and if it is set, then we need to show another button, welcome. Here I will add the name of the user, so auth service dot session dot name, and I don't need to call a function here yet. I will remove it. Now I will click on the login, and you can see that it has logged in, and now it is showing the name of the user. After that, I will also add a logout button at the right if user is already logged in. So for that, I will add a link logout, and here I will call I will not call a function. I can directly access this auth service session, and I can replace its value with the undefined. So it will unset the value. Auth dot session. Okay. So we need to show this div only, this pipe only if there is a session. Otherwise, this does not make sense. Okay. Now click on the login. Now you can see we have a welcome message, and we can also see the logout button. If you click on the logout, then it will show the login button again. So after that, I need to add few pages so that we could see that how we can implement the navigation here. So to make that possible, I need to create few components, one for about, blog, pricing, and contact. So let's do that. I'm going to generate this component, ng generate about, the ng generate C for component about. Press enter. This will generate a new component that you can see here. Now I will generate others as well. ng generate C blog, enter. Next I need to generate pricing. Next I need contact page. Okay, after that is done, I need to go to the app routing, app component, and as we are now going to use the app routing, so I need to add the router outlet here. So any page that we will click on will be loaded inside this component. And now let's open the app routing, and here in the routes array I will add my first route, that that will have path empty. So default path would load the about component, or maybe I need to generate another component for the home page. So we will load the home component here by default. Okay, so by default you can see it is showing the home component. Now you can see home components loading. Now I will add other routes as well. For that I will just copy paste this line for multiple times, and now I will add the paths for the other pages: about, blog, pricing, and then we need contact page as well. Now we need to load the relevant component depending on the path. So I will load contact component if we have the path contact in the URL, and here we need pricing component, here we need blog component, and here we need to load the about component if user loads this route. Now let's try it. I have clicked on the about, I have clicked on the blog. Blog is not working, about did work once. The reason is that in the header we added path in this way, but you should have added, actually we did not add any other path yet. So first thing, you need to fix the path. Here we need to add blog, pricing, and here I need to add contact. Once I do that, I'm assuming that it will work. Okay, now you can see that it is loading all of the pages. You can now easily go to the app component. You can wrap this router outlet in another div so that you could design it globally. So for example, I want to add style here. Max width should be 80% and margin auto. And now you can see that it is showing here. And you can also add padding top 50 pixels or maybe 20 pixels, and in every page you can add a heading for every page. For example, here I want to add about page, here I want to add blog page, and here I need to add the contact page heading, and here I will add home, and finally in the pricing we need to add the pricing page heading. Now you can see if I open any page, it will keep loading. And the last thing, I think the last is we need to add the activated color on the activated route link. So in the header, go to the header component, and there is another directive in Angular that you can use, that is active router link active, and add active. So if you add this, then it will add this active class on this element only if this route is active in the URL. Otherwise it will not add this class. That you can add any other class here, it does not matter. So once I will add this, then I will design that class in the CSS. So let's copy paste it for all of others. Okay, now here I can say here that if there is active class on this link, then I want to add color black. You can see there's a color black, but it is not very visible. So let's try to make it in a better color, or maybe I should use the same this color. Okay, if you open any other page, it will make that link active for you because of the active class on that. Okay. In the real world application, you might need to fetch data from a server to populate your header dynamically. That's it. We have successfully created a header component in Angular. We have covered setting up the project, generating header component, adding CSS styles, implementing the header template, data binding, and routing. Remember, this is just a beginning and you can build upon this header to add more advanced features and functionality. Thank you for joining me in this tutorial. If you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more Angular tutorials. If you have any questions or suggestions, please feel free to leave them in the comments section. Happy coding and see you next time. Goodbye.